So, you've decided to switch the spark plugs out on your Dodge 225 Slant 6 engine. This is going to be a guide on how I switched them out on my Dodge van here. So this might be a little bit different if it's in a truck or a car, but hopefully this can help you out a little bit in doing it, give you a little bit of insight. Here, these spark plugs were working, but it wasn't idling right, and when I went to go check the spark plugs, they were very, very nasty. So I just decided to swap them out and eliminate a factor that could be causing them to not work correctly. I know you can clean spark plugs, but these ones are just too gone. I've already swapped one out. It's already gapped and torqued in. So that one's already done. This is one of the new ones. Obviously, a lot cleaner, a lot nicer. From what I found online, the gap is supposed to be 0.035 on these spark plugs for a Slant 6. That's what I'm using, so if it works, it worked for me. These particular plugs are a 5/8 socket, and I'm using this, I don't know what they call it, flexible socket with an extension attached to it that I got from the auto parts store. If this is a 86 Slant 6, so I know that the spark plugs have changed throughout the years, because I know some of them had a 3/4 socket to them, and those ones you could just use a normal 3/4 spark plug socket. With these ones, the insulator is a little bit longer, so you need to get the longer spark plug sockets, because I had a normal 5/8 spark plug socket sitting around, and it didn't work, so I had to go buy this one. So, if you have spark plugs that are this particular style, this 5/8 Duralast 52-135 tool is what worked for me. So, and the one with the flexible extension attached to it really helps, because when you're pulling these plugs out, it wants to hit up here, I've noticed. So it makes it a lot easier to get around in there. So that's that. According to the manual, these are going to get torqued down to 10 foot-pounds when you get them in, and you're going to need to make sure that there's no dirt in there, because that will affect how far spark plugs go in and how much torque is actually on the plugs. So you don't want them to be too tight or too loose, and dirt being in there will affect that. So, also, I'd suggest cleaning out the ports before you take out the plugs, because you don't want to risk dirt getting into the cylinders. So, okay, update. I finished this spark plug, and I started working on that one, and it's being a complete pain in the butt. I have been wrenching on it for like 10 minutes now, and it's turning, but very, very slowly. I had to break out a 1/2-inch drive 5/8 socket and try to break the torque on it, and dang, it's proven difficult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of PB Blaster and let it soak to try and loosen it up, and work on the next one while I'm waiting. Hopefully the other ones aren't as difficult as this one, and it's definitely turning, but it's just being extremely difficult. Cut it out without having to use PB Blaster, but just a lot of brute force. And this is a perfect example of a spark plug not being properly seated. If I can get it to focus. Come on. I'm going to put it down here. What happens if it's not all the way in is the gases can build a carbon buildup around the threads here. There we go. And oil and stuff can get all crusty in there, and then the spark plugs are extremely difficult to get out. This guy did not loosen up the entire way out. It fought the entire way out. But that's why it's important to make sure they're all the way in. Otherwise, you'll have to deal with this mess when you go to take them back out. Okay, I got this one installed, got this one installed now, and this one coming out was also kind of difficult, but nowhere near as difficult as this one. And now the tricky finagling part of this job, you have to like finagle yourself back into there to get the last one behind the coil. I still got to get this one too. This one's also going to be a pain in the butt. So let's see how this is going to work. Okay, I mean, I got it in there. Okay, well, we'll see how that works. So, an update. To get the last spark plug out, you have to unbolt the coil. That bolts like right there. To try and get that out of the way. I'm probably gonna have to undo this too to make a little bit more space, because I tried every combination of finagling into there and it doesn't work. So you're gonna have to unbolt that coil if you're trying to get that last one out. Hook back up, got the coil back up, got the last plug in. That last one was pretty hard to get out, not gonna lie. It was very tricky. That one took me the longest. But now everything's in and it's ready to be fired up. So there we go.
So we just completed a quick test drive and it seems to be working perfectly fine. So I guess that's how to switch out your spark plugs on a 1986 Dodge van. I'm running out of time earlier, but we just test started it now that it's dark out. But seems to be running perfectly fine. Had my little bro help me out. So, why don't you rev it up, see what it does. Nice.